Oh,
Nanda, everybody.
hi everyone.
You can see the participant numbers coming up. Everyone's coming in. Really excited to see you this afternoon. Good afternoon from everyone at Taking Flight Theatre. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes so that we can allow everybody that wanted to participate in the Q&A this afternoon. So you're joining us for a live Q&A with Taking Flight Youth Theatre, which is going to be hosted. I'm speaking to you now just to introduce, but it's going to be hosted by Jamila, who's joining us today from Swansea. So Jamila is one of our senior youth theatre members, and also Steph, who's our youth theatre leader. And so Steph and Jamila will be hosting this afternoon, and I will be kind of giving them the questions that are coming through from you if you want to ask any questions. We've also got Leanne and Adrian here who are interpreting. So everybody say hello to Leanne and Adrian as well. And we've also got Hilary, who you probably can't see, she's not on screen, but she'll be providing live captions. So if you do need live captions, they are available. We're not using the Zoom captions because feedback has told us they can be a bit slow and a bit glitchy. So we have the amazing Hilary joining us this afternoon. And if you need to use the captions, just click on the chat box below, the chat box, not the Q&A box. And in the chat box, you'll see the link to the live captions, which are provided in English in Saesneg. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. I think it's only just, it's just gone 4:30. So I'm going to introduce everybody again in case I see a couple of people have joined since I started waffling away. We're all from Taking Flight. Link. I've just seen there's a message saying the link to the captions isn't showing up. If you've recently joined in chat, we'll post the link again. Darren will post that link again, and it should appear in your chat. The chat box only, anything appears in there since you joined. So if you look in the chat, Darren will repost the link. There we go. There they are. So if you need the captions, click that link. Lots of people like to have that on a separate device. So if you want to, you can click that link on your phone and you can have that running next to you. Let's have a look. I've seen that we still can't see the link. I will just, so we're using the chat for technical Q&As. Garen, can we have the link for the, there we go. There's the link, popped up again. Is that coming up? If you scroll to the top of the chat now, you should be able to see, there we go. Excellent, so we've all got the link for the captions if you need them. So, hello again and welcome, Croeso again from all of us at Taking Flight Theatre Company. I'm Beth, I'm the Development Director and co-founder of Taking Flight, and we're joined this afternoon by Jamila, who's one of our senior youth theatre members.
Hi.
Hi Jamila, how's it going?
All right. Can everybody see me because of the light is shining on my glasses? And I can be a little bit distracted.
That's okay, don't worry. We can. Hopefully, everyone's able to see you in with your lovely background there. So we're joined by Jamila, who is one of our senior members. She's been with the youth theatre since the start, and we're also joined by Steph. I'm pointing down because on my screen she's below me, but she may not be on yours. We're joined by Steph Back, who has been an actress with Taking Flight Theatre Company for some time and is now the leader of our youth theatre. And so I just wanted to introduce you to Taking Flight because some of you might not have heard of our work before or been involved with us. We're based in Cardiff. We're an inclusive theatre company, and we set up in 2008, so 12 years ago now. And our mission is to smash down barriers to participating in theatre. That's basically what we want to do. And we do that by pushing the boundaries of creative access. When we make theatre, access is at the heart of everything we do, but we also want to create more opportunities for more people to be involved in theatre and the arts in Wales and beyond. And part of that has been our years-long, struggle is the wrong word, but years-long aim, dream, desire to run a youth theatre specifically for deaf and hard of hearing young people who we were being told by lots of young people that we worked with had been so excluded from the provision that was out there. So finally, we managed to achieve that. And in January, we opened the doors on our first youth theatre for deaf and hard of hearing young people. And Jamila had been involved over the years in the taster sessions and was one of the founding members of the youth theatre. So that's why we're here this afternoon, because we want to share the story of our youth theatre with you, and perhaps you may feel that there are young people that you work with or you know or in your life that might like to know some more about the youth theatre, might be thinking about joining, wondering, is it possible to join at the moment? Because obviously no one can go to a youth theatre at the moment. Is it still possible to join? Well, I'm not going to answer those questions now because you don't want to hear any more from me rambling on over here. So what we'd like to do now is open up to you. All that you guys know is that there exists a youth theatre in Cardiff for deaf and hard of hearing young people, run by Taking Flight Theatre Company. What would you like to know about that youth theatre? Would you like to know how many people join, what we're doing during lockdown, what we're doing while we're not allowed to be together? What would you like to know? So first of all, I'm going to hand over to Jamila, and I just want you to introduce yourself, Jamila. Tell us where you're from and just tell us a bit about you before we...
Hi, my name's Jamila. I'm from Swansea. I am 14.
Fab.
I love acting so much. Like, I do it every day. Yeah.
So you love getting involved in drama and acting is your passion. I know that from the conversations we've had in the past. I know that you love the acting. So my first question really, and so we're going to be asking questions today. We've got Steph, who's our youth theatre leader, and we've got Jamila. So out there in Zoom land, you can ask questions on any topic surrounding the youth theatre. You can ask Jamila or you can ask Steph, and I'll pass your questions on to them. But I've been thinking about the youth theatre because it is something that we'd wanted to do for so long. I was wondering, Jamila, this is a question for you.
Oh, yes.
And I know that you'd been involved in some of our kind of ground laying work that we were doing in the run up to actually opening the youth theatre, and we were trying to get the funding. I was wondering how you felt when you found out that finally we were going to start this youth theatre that we've been talking about for so long. How did you feel about that?
I'm trying to think from back then. No words really. I was excited, happy that there was going to be a place that I can go to express myself of something that I really love and meet people who are similar with the hearing and different colours, different races that enjoy the same thing as me, and make new friends.
Excellent. So you were looking forward to the social side of it, and also the fact that you felt that you would be meeting other young people who perhaps were in a similar situation to you in terms of being deaf or hard of hearing. Is that right?
When the first day, I felt welcomed and I felt like I belonged there.
Oh wow!
From just the first day, and everybody was so nice. Like wow.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So if you want to ask a question of Steph or Jamila, if you want to type a question in the Q&A box below. If you want to ask a question in BSL, you can raise your hand. You can click to raise your hand, and we can actually bring you up on screen, and you can ask a question in BSL, British Sign Language. So if you just want to observe the Q&A, you can ask a question by typing it in the Q&A box, or you can click raise hand, and then Garen will bring you up live, and you can ask a question either verbally with using video or through BSL. But now I'm going to go over to Steph, who's been, as I said, had been working with Taking Flight since 2016, and ask you the same question, Steph. How did you feel when you finally found out that we were going to be running this youth theatre?
Wow. Well, when I knew that it was happening, I was jumping up and down. I was so excited. I mean, I hadn't felt something like this for so long, and I just felt that it was so important. I was so excited the fact that it was actually happening. I know that Taking Flight have been working so hard to make something like this happen, that when it finally happened, I was just, it was just amazing. Yeah, it's my dream job. Absolutely.
Oh, that's good to hear. And you're frozen on my screen, Steph, so I can't see how excited you are, but I can imagine you kind of jumping around as you're replying to that question. So you obviously you answered the question there in British Sign Language. Do you lead the sessions in sign language?
Pardon?
Do you lead the sessions in sign? Do you lead the youth theatre in sign language?
Yes, I do. I use a mixture of BSL and SFE, sign supported English. So it depends on individual people's communication needs. So if I'm leading a group, it will be BSL or speech with sign, depending on communication needs. I'll match my communication with individual people's needs. We also have interpreters in the session, so we do have all different forms of communication within the group.
Amazing. So Jamila, do you use sign language as well?
A little bit, like to communicate with the boys in my group.
So do you find that going to sessions and having the sign language in the sessions, does that help you to learn new sign language at all?
Yes, it does. Like if I wanted to know a sign, I could ask Steph or one of the interpreters, and they would show me that, like if we were doing an acting piece and I needed to do sign.
So you use a mixture of communication as well?
It'll help me, yeah.
We've had a question in from somebody who's out there in Zoom land. Our first question, are we excited? I am. The first question is, and I'm going to ask this question to Jamila. Jamila, how many times, how often, how many times a week does the youth theatre meet?
Once now, it's on Zoom. But when in the past, when we did do the meetups, it was every Saturdays. Every Saturday, I mean.
But you're still meeting during the kind of coronavirus pandemic, are you?
Yes. It's fun. It's fun. Like, I love talking to them on Zoom, and I just hope soon that we can go back to normal and we can meet each other. And I hope that more people will join to experience what I've experienced.
So you're hoping that when we go back to real life, there'll be an even bigger group.
Yeah, hopefully.
So hopefully answering some of the questions that people have on this Q&A today will help get the word out there to perhaps people who are feeling maybe a bit nervous about joining in real life and maybe want to join some of our virtual sessions that we're having over the summer, or maybe are just finding out some more information. Maybe you've never heard of our youth theatre and you wanted a bit more info, and then you can come along when we start our real life sessions again, whenever that might be. So Steph, I've got a question for you now. You've been leading some of the sessions, as Jamila just mentioned, over the summer. You've been leading sessions on Zoom. So I'm a complete technophobe. This is kind of one of my first forays into the world of Zoom. What sort of things have you been doing? And is it possible to run a youth theatre via Zoom? That's my question.
Can you? I think we've just frozen a moment, Beth, so I'm not sure Steph got that.
Oh, sorry, I'll have to repeat myself. Can you hear me all right, Leanne?
Yeah, you froze for me, very sorry. Adrian, do you want to just do this for a moment?
I was just checking that Steph can see me. She can see me. So yeah, if you ask the question again. Yes,
I shall repeat the question. So my key question was, is it possible to run a youth theatre on Zoom? You were talking about, Jamila was talking about some of the sessions having been brought into the virtual world. And as a technophobe, that's really kind of interesting to me. Is it possible? How on earth do you run a youth theatre on Zoom? Question mark.
Well, at first, when we decided to go to Zoom, I have to say I felt exactly the same. I was wondering what we were going to do. It felt like it was a real learning process. And then after one session, actually, everything felt like we were back to normal again. It was really, really nice because I could see that all of these, all of these windows with faces in, and it was really, really nice to see these people again. And yes, there is some change, there is some adaptation required. We do have to think about how we're going to do this particular game, or how we're going to do this particular activity through Zoom. So there is a lot of thinking involved, but as with everything that's happened, there's some trial and error in, and what works well we keep, and what doesn't we change. So I think it does work well because everyone wants to be involved and everyone's really excited to see each other. So and that's the important thing, really.
Maybe even more so now. Maybe because we don't get to see people, we're not going to school as much. We don't get to see people. Maybe it's even more important to have these youth theatre sessions where you can connect with your friends, your peers, the leaders. We've had another question in from Zoom World. This one is from Axelina. I know I have inside information that Axelina is in Europe. So this is a question beaming its way all the way from Europe. And she's asking this question of Steph. And she's saying, what are your hopes and plans, Steph, for the future of youth theatre? And she's also saying congratulations. She says congratulations because she's heard really great things about the way the sessions have been going. So congratulations to everyone involved, the members and the leaders. So that's Steph and Anna, who is our amazing youth theatre assistant as well. So there was a question in there somewhere, Steph, and it was, what are your hopes and plans for the future of youth theatre?
Wow, I have so many. I know that all of the young people have so many goals and ambitions, and my plan is just to help them achieve those. So I'm hoping to build up the youth theatre and have more and more children attend, and we're hoping to actually go to theatres so they can all see and experience real life theatre. I want to create some performances with the children, everything really. Just really want to encourage and inspire all our lovely children that attend.
Amazing. So Taking Flight Youth Theatre takes over the world, the theatre world. So we've got, I wanted to talk about some of the plans for youth theatre actually. We do have we did have plans. We had just decided when lockdown happened, our first family theatre trip was going to be to see Treasure Island at Derby Theatre, which was a performance at Derby Theatre featuring deaf and hearing performers and British Sign Language and captions. And we were going to go and see it as a group, but unfortunately, for obvious reasons, it got cancelled and we weren't able to go. But those are the kinds of things that we're hoping for the youth theatre. And Steph mentioned the performances. We do want to give you and other people in Wales a chance to see our young people perform. And I'm interested to know, Jamila, would you like to do live? I mean, is that something you want to do? Do you want to do live performances in front of an audience?
All of that sounds amazing. I
Good.
hope it happens. Yes, I would love to do live shows. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Do you see yourself as an actor? Do you see yourself as a performer?
Yes. I was just like so excited about what Steph and you said about, you know, some ideas you were thinking of. Sadly, this pandemic ruined it all.
Well, I would beg to disagree with you there, Jamila. I know what you're saying. It's paused it, hasn't it? We have to pause in some of our dreams and ambitions. But I think we mustn't let go of them, actually, because I think when we come back after this, we're going to need it even more than we did before. I think that somebody said that already. It's going to be even more important. And so we must hang on to those dreams and ambitions and ensure that when we all come back together, we make them happen, and we will make them happen. Especially if you and your fellow members want to be part of that, that's what will happen. We'll be going to see performances and we'll be making our own performances. I've got another question for you, right. Jamila.
Yes.
Did you want to say something? Did I just interrupt?
I did want to say something about if you have an ambition for something, do not give it up because something's in a way for a little while. Just work around it.
I think that's a good piece of advice for us all at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, for now and forever. That's really good. Thank you for that, Jamila. And yes, work around it. There'll be ways around it. Really good life coaching from Jamila. We have a question that's come in for you from Tafsila.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Tafsila. And Tafsila has recently joined our board of trustees. So thanks for joining us, Taf. It's nice to have you here. Taf wonders, Jamila, she's wondering what your favourite part of youth theatre is.
I can't just pick one thing.
There was a pause there where you had to think. I heard you thinking. You can't pick one part. What are some of the things that you enjoy?
There's so many things that I enjoy. It's just like, it's hard to just focus on one or two. The games, when, you know, like the games especially, because personally, I think the games are there to help us in a fun way, like learning something new.
So you feel like the games really help to build your skills?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Got a bit stuck there.
So is that the best bit of youth theatre, is the games?
Yes, and being able to meet new people and being around very nice people.
Excellent.
And to be myself in front of everyone.
Having the opportunity to be yourself.
Yeah.
There's another question I'm going to ask straight on the back of that one. A question's come in from Safyan, who's asking, hi. And this is for Jamila, and we're going to ask you this one as well, Steph, straight afterwards, because I think it's a really interesting question. So Safyan wants to know, Jamila, what made you want to be an actor? What made you want to do acting?
My mum said, I always do it every day at home. It's always, I agree with my mum, because acting has always been a part of me. Like, it's been like from when I was younger. My acting has increased over the years, and being able to go to a drama youth, I've been able to put that into that and learn more about the drama production. And it helps me be who I am. Yeah.
It sounds like, you know, it wasn't really a choice you made, it was in you. It sounds like you're saying not something you thought, oh, I wonder what. It sounds like it was part of you and it was going to come out, and it was and that was going to happen. You feel like that's it's all a part of Jamila to express yourself through acting and through theatre. Is that right?
Yes. I'm glad that God did this for me, because if this opportunity didn't come, I wouldn't have known how great Taking Flight was, and like known like more techniques for something that I solely love.
Amazing. So Steph, you're a bit further on in the performing journey than Jamila. So I know that you've been acting now for some years. You're still very young, so not that many years, I have to say. But what made you want to be an actor?
Well, firstly, thank you very much for saying I'm still so young. I appreciate that comment. Thanks, Beth. Acting, I wanted to become an actor for so many different reasons. I think it's really hard to describe, and particularly, you know, very similar to Jamila. I just wanted to be able to express myself, be who I am. And when I'm acting, I feel, what's the word? I don't know how to explain it really. It's like having a fire inside my belly, and it's burning away in there, and I'm able to express myself and be myself. And I can be any character. I've got so much confidence when I'm acting. I can become anybody, and I absolutely adore it.
Amazing. So that's a fantastic, you're a fantastic role model for the young people, because you've got that real drive and enthusiasm. I'm going to ask you a question now. I hope you don't mind me asking this, but I wonder if you ever felt that it would be more difficult because you're a deaf actor, or did you ever feel like, oh, I have this ambition, but I'm going to have to put it away in a box because actors aren't deaf? Is that something you ever thought about, or did it never cross your mind?
Well, yes, there are barriers out there to deaf people, but I'm lucky because in my professional career, I started with Taking Flight. So I've started with you. So I felt ever so much support. You know, I felt that I could do anything, I could achieve anything. So yeah, I felt like, yeah, I know that there are barriers out there for deaf people, and I know, you know, I actually realised that here I can do anything, and all of us, we can do anything. It's as though we've got this kind of secret benefit that we're really visual, and that helps with acting.
Oh wow!
You know, we see people every day, and every day we're picking up new things. We're learning about how people move, how people act in the real world. So, and that is a real benefit. That's a real benefit.
The casting directors out there in Zoom land, it's a benefit to have that kind of visual skill under your belt. And Jamila, I want to ask you something following on from that. Have you, because it's something I was thinking, I was watching Casualty the other night. If any of you watched Casualty the other night, there was not only a deaf performer in one of the lead roles, there was actually a deaf storyline. And I wondered, it made me start thinking, because I was so surprised to see a deaf character who was part of not just appearing as a character, but was actually driving the story. I wondered, Jamila, do you think there are enough deaf famous actors who, or maybe not just not famous, but actors that you see on the telly when you turn on your favourite programme, there's deaf performers. Do you think there are enough deaf actors on stage and screen?
No, because like when we watch TV and we go to the theatre, I haven't really seen many deaf actors, and I think personally that needs to change. I think more deaf actors needs to be added on to movies, TV shows, theatres, everywhere.
How would you feel if you went to see a big theatre production that, you know, one of those great big theatres, and one of the main characters was deaf? How would you feel about that?
It would be hard to like explain, but like at the beginning, if I see someone deaf, a main character deaf, I'd probably be like, "It's a deaf actor!" Yeah. We'd be like very like, "Oh my gosh, there's a deaf actor."
So we're thinking this is the shocked acting. So it would be really surprising to you if you saw a deaf actor in, and for me I guess that's a bit sad that it would be that shocking that a deaf actor would be. It wouldn't just be accepted as the ordinary that we would see a deaf actor in a big production.
I would love it. I would.
You'd love it, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got another question. So Tafsila has asked, this is one for Steph, where is the youth theatre, Steph? Where does it happen when it's not on Zoom?
Yeah, I was going to say at the moment it's here, it's on Zoom. But normally we go to the Wales Millennium Centre in Cardiff Bay.
Yeah.
We've got a lovely room and it's ours, and yeah, it feels really lovely. And it's nice because then it means that parents can go and have a coffee or something, and we play and learn and do our thing.
Yeah, I have to say, actually, from my point of view, it's been really amazing to be at the Wales Millennium Centre, and they have been so supportive in hosting us there. And what was really fantastic was just before we went into lockdown, there was a play in the Western Studio there which featured a deaf performer and embedded sign language called The Beauty Parade by Kate O'Reilly, who's a Wales-based visually impaired playwright. And it was so fantastic to know that the young people from youth theatre were coming into a building where on a big stage there was a production with a deaf performer. So that was really fantastic. So I mean, we're really grateful to the Wales Millennium Centre for hosting. They have made an announcement that they won't be opening until at least January. So we're still in the kind of stages of looking at whether we need to wait to January to open back up to real live sessions, or whether we find a temporary home between kind of September or October and January. So Steph and I are currently plotting how we can get back together as quickly as possible, but keeping our young people and our staff. We've got Steph, we've got Anna, who's an amazing assistant who comes to who works with every session. And we've also got a pool of about 12 volunteers. So some of our volunteers are deaf or disabled, some of them are non-disabled, some of them are young people who are currently at university, some of them are older. We've got this pool of volunteers and they are amazing. And between them, there's usually 3 per session. They come and support the sessions with our children and young people. So we really want to make sure that we keep our young people, our volunteers and our staff and everybody using the centre safe. So we're currently kind of weighing up whether we wait for the Wales Millennium Centre to open or whether we can safely start meeting somewhere else. And Steph, do you want to talk a bit about our plans for our little August summer treat? They're not completely set in stone yet, but we've got a little bit of a plan about how we might be able to meet up at the end of the summer holidays, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yeah. So Beth and I have been talking, and we're hoping that we could have an outing, so perhaps a day in a park. So that then means that families can come together in a park. It's a safe space. We can socially distance appropriately, but we can also see each other, and we can play a little bit, do a bit of acting, do lots of things. So it'd be nice, actually, I think, if we can do that and make the most of the sunshine as well. Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do that.
That will be absolutely lovely, won't it, if we can all meet up and see each other and have some summer drama fun. There's another question here, and this one's for Jamila. Are you still there, Jamila? Oh
Yeah.
Change position on my screen. This one, how has it been different? This one's from Axelina again. How has it been different learning through Zoom to learning in class? How has that experience changed for you?
It's been different because it's not face to face, it's on the internet. And in this pandemic, not everybody's we're coming in different weeks, and I would love to see everyone.
So do you mean it's been a different social experience because not everybody can make it every week?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And that's sad because I want to see everyone there.
Yeah. Is it still possible, do you think, to learn some of the skills that you were learning before? Is that still possible on Zoom?
I think some of the techniques and things we've been learning face to face can be on Zoom, but some of the things we can't because we need to be, together to do so. I've been doing more being on Zoom. I've been doing more drawing for taking flight.
Oh wow!
And we created a story about the. It's on YouTube, isn't it, Steph?
Oh, where do we find that then, if you want to see that?
Yeah, so we decided to do the leeway.
Squiggles.
The leeway squiggles. Sorry, sorry, Adrian. Sorry, Adrian, for that. So it's a project that myself and Jamila created. We created this story, which was amazingly funny. It's this really beautiful story that Jamila created the artwork for, and she draws so beautifully. So I sent it to the company, and then they created songs from her story. So
oh wow,
amazing.
So Jamila's multi-talented, basically, aren't you?
She is. Thank you. Adrian, did you sing the song or?
No, I didn't. I didn't sing the song. I wish I could though.
Do you know doing Zoom?
Sorry.
Hello?
I was going to ask, where do we find it? If we want to see this Squiggles project, where can people watching today see the project? Do you know?
Steph?
I think it's on the Leeway Facebook page. If it's not actually on there, the link will probably be there.
Fantastic. So if people want to see that, it's Leeway Productions, and they're another theatre company based in South Wales, and they did a project during lockdown called Squiggles. So if you want to check out their Facebook page, we're thinking that the results of that project might be on there, but if not, we'll find out and we'll post it. Oh, there we are. Somebody's posted it in the chat. Stella, thank you. She's posted the link in the chat. So if you want to have a look, it's in there. Look at that efficiency. Thank you, Stella. We've got another question. Yes.
Sorry, adding on to the question. It's been more different than face to face because we got to do other things like that song. That one, we've got to do a few projects, haven't we, Steph?
Yes. Jamila's involved in the Little Two Men. No. a little 2-minute film. Yes, a little 2-minute film. Yeah, so we had to act like bees, but the bees were pretending to be humans.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's still being created at the moment. But yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
And if I was really mean right now,
Pardon?
If I was super mean right now, I'm asking myself, what does it look like when two actors act like bees pretending to be human? But I think that's too mean, isn't it? That's too mean. If you want to speak be acting like bees, acting like humans, I suggest you comment in the Q&A below, yes, right now, and we may all of us have to
bees acting like
humans, acting like bees, acting like humans. But in the meantime, I actually have another question for you. Steph, you're probably best.
Yes, please.
Everybody wants to
see us. Everybody wants to see us.
If people say yes, I will join in. But yeah. So Steph, this is a question for you. Before lockdown, where were you looking to take the youth theatre, and will there be any performances that we, the public, can watch?
So when you say take the youth theatre, do you mean what theatre shows would we go and see, or what?
I think I'm guessing the sense of this question is more about, and you have spoken a little bit about your dreams and ambitions for the youth theatre. So, you know, what's next for the youth theatre, and will you be doing any public performances for our keen audience to watch?
Well, at the moment, I want to have a look at some different skills. So we're learning a little bit about puppetry, we're learning about mime, we're learning about physical theatre, so different forms of theatre. So I want to see what the young people enjoy, where their interests are, what skills they want to develop. So, and also refining our learning as well. And then I think we'll move on to create something, perhaps create a performance. But I really want to see what the young people want to do, whether they want to use a script or whether they want to devise something themselves. We'll have a look on that. But the work, whatever the work is, it'll be work that's led by the young people.
That's interesting. So I was just about to say, it sounds like from the way you're speaking, Steph, that this is not just a youth theatre where everybody turns up and they're told what to do, but it's actually being led by the way that the young people want to direct those skills. So if they're really interested in a particular thing that you've been doing, do you then develop that skill?
Yes, of course. Yeah. That's really, really important. I mean, I'm here for them. I want to support them to develop their acting, to develop all of their skills in what they love and what they're interested in. And I want to know that. And I always think that it's important to have open conversations and to take on that feedback based on what the young people want.
Amazing. That's a really interesting, it's a really beautiful way of looking at it, that you are there to facilitate these young people's talents and skills. I really like that as something to take away when thinking about the youth theatre. We haven't got very long left. I'm so surprised how quickly this has gone. So I wanted to say before we finish that somebody has asked actually what time the youth theatre is, and before lockdown we were split into 3 different age groups, which we're going to continue to do. So we've got 4 to 7 is our youngest age group, and they meet for an hour from 9:30 to 10:30 on a Saturday morning, pre-lockdown. We then have 8 to 11, our middle group, and they meet from 11 to 12:30, so they get a bit longer, an hour and a half. And then our senior group that Jamila's a member of meet from 1 till 3 p.m, and that is 14 to 18. So that's our current age groups. However, what we have decided to do is be really flexible with those. So for example, if there's a family of young people who are all around a similar age but would technically be in different age groups, that makes it really difficult for families to spend a Saturday with one person going, and then so we realised that really quickly. So we've been really flexible and allowed families to bring children to different age groups if it suits their family, or if they've, for example, got a really important one-to-one lesson that they have on a Saturday, they can come to a different age group if that makes it easier for the family. And so some of the other logistical things are that the sessions are, as Steph and Jamila have both indicated, they're run in BSL and English. There's interpreters in the room. We provide lots of our materials, like our, all the policies and things like that are provided in written English and British Sign Language. So they're kind of some of the more logistical goings on. The youth theatre is really important because I've already said thank you very much to the Wales Millennium Centre for hosting our youth theatre, but the youth theatre wouldn't be possible without the support of our amazing funders. And primarily we've got 3 years funding from BBC Children in Need, so we know that this youth theatre will run for 3 years, and by the end of it we'll have funding in place to continue it on. So that's been amazing. That's the core support for the youth theatre. In its first year, the Ashley Family Foundation have also made a contribution to the youth theatre, which has been really amazing because it's meant that year 1 is completely, has been really securely funded. And then COVID hit, so we were very lucky in getting some emergency support from the Moondance Foundation, Community Foundation Wales, and some additional COVID emergency money from BBC Children in Need, which has enabled us to say that under normal circumstances we would have halted for the summer holidays because everyone's going on holiday and young people have got lots of other things to do. But we realised that some of the young people that are involved with us are perhaps going to be more isolated during the summer holidays than they ordinarily would be because there isn't anything else going on. They might not be going on holiday, they might not be able to meet up with their friends. So we recognised really quickly that it was important to keep the youth theatre going through the summer. So that emergency money that we've had has enabled us to say, not only will we run weekly sessions through the summer, but we're also going to start planning really exciting sessions with people who are leading in their fields in the arts, deaf people, to come and do day-long sessions with our young people. Things like the picnic that we talked about, and also start planning for the future of real life meeting up again. So, and also, Steph, do you want to talk a little bit about the weekly resources you've been making? And Anna's been making some as well. We've had weekly resources which we've been able to put on our social media channels for the young people to do at home. Do you want to talk about some of the things you've been making and doing?
Of course, every week we're creating different things, different videos of me signing, and then I upload them to Facebook. So it's different activities for the children to partake in and learn different skills as they do that. So last week, I was playing around and experimenting with UV light during a performance, and it's really, really interesting. With using UV paint, I painted different patterns and animals across my arms and face, and then used the UV light to see what would happen. And then this week, I'm using stop motion photography to create some animation. So we're doing lots of different creative things and fun things that the children can get involved in.
That's amazing.
Also created some challenges as well for all our participants. So for the younger group, one person has challenged me to go for a walk to try and walk in different funny ways. And so I've done that, and then I've got to do that as well. So I'm walking down the street, filming myself walking in very funny poses. So everybody else that might be around is looking at me and thinking, what is she doing?
That must be fun. So if you're interested in those resources, Steph and Anna and other people have been working really hard. Actually, no, Steph and Anna have been working really hard on creating those resources, and they are on our Facebook page. So we have a specific Facebook page, which is Taking Flight Youth Theatre. And if you go onto our Facebook page and scroll down, you'll see all of the resources that appear week after week. So we've got some lovely arts and crafts in there. There's one where Steph teaches you the BSL alphabet, but she goes on a walk. So every letter of the alphabet is attached to something else on the walk. There's really lovely, my personal favourite, and the one that my girls loved, was sticking googly eyes on household objects and just making people laugh, basically. So really lovely activities on there if you want to check those out. And I've got one last question before we go, because I think this one's really important, and it's for Steph initially, but I'm going to ask a similar question to Jamila. Steph, have you seen any changes in the young people's confidence since the youth theatre started? And that's quite a tricky question, because we only got kind of 8 weeks of activity before we had to stop. But was there time for you to see any positive changes in that time?
100% yes, there was definite changes, massive changes.
Oh wow.
Especially with the younger group. They were very nervous and very quiet when they first joined, and after 2 weeks they were running everywhere, interacting with everybody, full of life, so much confidence. And the acting skills really were developing quickly through the games we were playing. And one young person felt extremely anxious and wanted to sit just outside the room and watch through the window, because there's a glass window on one side of the room that we use. And I thought perhaps he'd want to carry on doing that for 3 or 4 weeks. And they only sat outside for 1 week. And on week 2, they were in and interacting with everybody else in the room. So it's absolutely beautiful to see all their confidence growing and improving week on week. I love it.
Great.
Yeah, and Jamila, do you feel like, you seem to me like a confident young person. Do you feel like the youth theatre has supported your confidence, or were you confident before anyway?
That's a hard one. I don't recognise it, but probably the people around me have probably seen the progress from when they met me in the beginning to now. I just be myself, really, not focusing on some things.
So you're not necessarily kind of going and thinking, oh, I might more confident this week than I was last week. It's just happening.
I am a bit shy sometimes still.
Are you?
Just accept it.
Yeah.
That's great about the younger ones. I'm pleased with that. I'm very happy with that.
The young ones are doing so well. Cool. It's interesting, isn't it? We've had some really positive feedback from parents actually as well, directly, including somebody who said one of the teachers at school had, I think Jamila's pointing to her parent off screen there going,
yeah, my mum was telling me about how great Taking Flight is, and she probably sees more confidence in me than I was before joining Taking Flight. Is it?
Well, you're with people that let you be yourself,
yeah,
just like the other kids. I'm sure all the other kids feel the same. They can be themselves there, whatever that means to them individually. But we love it. It's great. It's great.
That's lovely to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamila's mum there. It's a bit of feedback as well.
Hiding off the camera.
But we had that.
And we've had feedback from a teacher from a school who reported back that they're one of the young people in their class who've been coming to youth theatre had been able to focus a lot more in class. So we have already, even in the 8 short weeks, and that really surprised me, and I think it surprised you as well, Steph, that in such a short amount of time we could start to see those really positive impacts.
That's wonderful to hear.
A few more minutes. We've got another question about volunteers. Do we need more volunteers? We always need more volunteers. We love our volunteers. We've currently got about 12 in the pool, but obviously some weeks people can't make it, or they get sick and they drop out, and they have to have a few weeks off. We always need more volunteers to help cover. Some volunteers we need to help in the sessions themselves, so supporting the young people to participate in the sessions. For example, sometimes there might be a young person who's really shy and needs one volunteer to stay with them and participate with them. It might be that a whole group of young people is a bit more reluctant to play games, so we need people to be silly and play the games and show them that it can be really fun. And we train all our volunteers, we support you, and we make sure that you're equipped and ready to be part of that. But we also look for volunteers who, if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to be in the sessions, we look for volunteers to help us with marketing and fundraising and organising. So if you are interested in volunteering, then do get in touch with me. My email address is beth@takingflighttheatre.co.uk, or you can get in touch through our website and let me know that you want to volunteer. Did you want to say something, Jamila?
Yes, I did. It would be lovely to have more volunteers and more kids. Guys, please join Take Your Flight. You're going to have so much fun.
And that
is just there like, yeah.
That is all the persuasion you need. So if you work with, or you have in your family or friends, young people who are deaf or hard of hearing, age 4 to 18, that you think might like to come along and join, please get in touch with us. Steph's email address is steph@takingflighttheatre.co.uk. And you can get in touch with Steph and talk about which age group and whether they want to join now while the sessions are virtual, because it might be a way of joining and it might be a bit less overwhelming because it's online, and then later on they can join the real sessions. But we'd love to hear from you. Excellent. Steph typed her email address in there. So if you want to get in touch, follow us on social media. Like I said, the Youth Theatre's got its own Facebook page. We've also got a Twitter account just for Taking Flight, is @TakingFlightCo. So do get in touch. If you work with, or maybe you have a young person in your family who's a bit older than 18, but you think, as lots of people have said to us, my young person is actually 19 or 20, can they join youth theatre? Unfortunately, because of the way we're funded, once they reach 18, they can't participate in the youth theatre, but they can be volunteers, which is another way of basically participating and supporting Taking Flight. So we do have a few deaf and hard of hearing younger volunteers who couldn't actually join youth theatre, but decided to volunteer instead, and that is proving to be a really fantastic thing. So if you want to volunteer instead, then please get in touch. So it would be lovely to hear from you. Steph and Jamila, do we go Steph first? Is there anything you want to say before signing off?
That I feel a little bit emotional, to be honest, because it's just such a wonderful experience to be a part of the Deaf Youth Theatre. It's absolutely amazing.
Excellent. I'm glad, and I'm really glad that so many people got involved and asked the questions, and I'm really happy that you and Jamila were here to answer them as well. So it's really good to hear directly from people involved in the youth theatre. Jamila, is there anything you want to say before we go?
I agree with Steph. Today's been wonderful, and Taking Flight's wonderful. The staff, the volunteers, the kids, everyone is so nice. And thank you to Steph and the staff for helping and supporting me. Thank you, Beth, for supporting me and helping me. And thank you, Gavin, for helping me set up my iPad and everything.
Yes. So
Thank you, everyone.
You're segueing perfectly there, Jamila, into the thank yous. Yes. You can't see Garin, but Garin is our stage manager for this Zoom webinar, who's behind the scenes there and has helped us all sort out our various technical issues. So thanks, Garin. Thank you to Hilary for providing the captions.
Thank you.
And for the interpretation. A huge thank you to Steph and Jamila for being with us this afternoon and answering all of your questions. And of course, thank you to the Wales Millennium Centre, BBC Children in Need, the Ashley Family Foundation, the Moondance Foundation, Community Foundation Wales, and the BBC Children in Need COVID Relief Fund as well. Thank you to all our supporters. We've had some amazing individual supporters as well for the Youth Theatre. And thank you to you guys for joining us. It's been amazing to be joined by so many people this afternoon and such great questions. Hearing that you're interested in our youth theatre and what we're doing, it just makes it all so much better for us to know that you're out there and you're interested in what we're doing. Please pass on the information about the youth theatre. We really want to, when we go back after the pandemic, we want to get as many young people as we can involved and make sure that we haven't been badly damaged by the pandemic in terms of confidence and starting again, really. So if you do know anyone who you think wants to be in youth theatre, Jamila says it's fun. It's really fun. I think that we should do bees pretending to be humans, pretending to be bees, while Garin finishes up the webinar. What do we think? So we'll all, thank you so much to everyone taking part, and we'll all be, what do you reckon, Jamila? We're going to go for it?
Yeah. Let's give them a sneak peek.
Okay, you've got an unfair advantage because I've never been a bee pretending to be a human before, and you two have. So let's do it. Ready, go. Human being. Steph, did you join in with that? I couldn't see because your screen was frozen.
Yep, I promise I was joining in.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, takingflighttheatre.org.uk, and get in touch with myself, Beth, or Steph at takingflighttheatre.co.uk. Thank you, Jamila. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank
and
you,
Leanne.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your help and kindness.